Xerxe. Ivern, Rumble, and Zach hasn't even played one of those, call it, dare I say, standard champions. Do you want to predict some bans here?
Yeah, the LeBlanc will probably come out.
Okay.
Maybe say maybe a Rengar, you know, on the red side. And what else could be there? Something broken, jumps around.
I'm not sure.
There's the walls.
You mean Fiora? Oh yeah, Camille.
Yeah.
Camille.
Give me the blinks, you know, every time.
We'll have to wait and see. It is Unicorns.
It is the Unicorns. It's the hardest team to predict bans on red side from.
Ding!
And there we go. That's one right.
Unicorns did let Rengar through them in the past. They ran the Lulu and the Poppy and the Ivern.
Yeah, mostly the Ivern. There seems to be a tendency to keep picking that Ivern up for Xerxe, so I need to see that's something that H2K want to get rid of, if they're comfortable playing against it, and what their priority is going to be. We've seen very often Zyra blue side bans as well. With the Tom Kench ban, it does seem that H2K is planning something else. We're looking at if this is a Rengar ban, either a Kha'Zix or a Zyra early pickup here for H2K. Would be meta game, but we never know, obviously.
Bing!
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. So Unicorns maybe going a little bit more standard with their picks and bans.
I expect either Zyra here or maybe the Kha'Zix, because it has gone up in popularity and such a strong jungle pick, mostly because Jankos is such a good carry jungler and he can really snowball that pick because he's so smart where he puts his time around level 3 or 4 that he sometimes either like not to go for the gank and then he powers through to level 6 and then he's obviously a very strong champion.
Alright, should we keep the pings up? You got the Kha'Zix.
We're not going to make that annoying sound, but
where do you...
I mean, it's not where I predict it's where the metagame has settled. Like, it's not rocket science. This is usually where people then maybe go for like Varus, Zyra, especially in the LCK. Varus has been loved on the red side. We're talking about Unicorns though, so they could kind of shake that up. I'd be surprised if they just locked the Ivern in here already. I guess they really want to match jungler in the first rotation of picks, and they don't want to leave it as third in case H2K throws a spanner in the works, so that could explain the Ivern. But then you usually would expect here your favorite AD carry or support.
All right, Samux has played Caitlyn twice, Jhin twice. No Ashe or Varus as of yet, though the option is definitely available to him. Exileh, of course, Rise has been banned against him. Used that one game to last pick the Kassadin as well, worked in their favor relatively well. And it's going to be the Shen.
Oh, so that's interesting. So that means that Unicorns, they're revealing one of the good tanks top. H2K, they probably want to play a tank top with that Kha'Zix, which means if they get both pinched in terms of Nautilus and Maokai and Poppy's off the board already, they don't really have a good top lane pick yet to pick after phase 2, so they may have to change their plan here from just insta-picking the bot lane on first phase to maybe pick a top lane champion. And then they have to prioritize, what do we like more, AD carry or support? And it probably is still that Zyra. So maybe they pick Zyra, either Maokai here, if they just want to play tank versus tank. And if they're fine with playing damage matchup in the top lane, they pick maybe Zyra Varus here or something. Okay,
Zyra Varus, Zyra Maokai. H2K got 15 seconds on the clock, and then we're going to start looking towards these sort of phase 2 bans and trying to get a bit of sense of what H2K or Unicorns want to prioritize.
It's all about kind of squeezing champion pools here at this point. Be very surprised if it's a mid lane pick. Would make very little sense here. Unless it's like the broken champions. But even then, I think very few teams end up doing this unless you really just love the Syndra.
So do you like or dislike the Syndra in the context of this pick and ban? It's allowed the Katarina near instant pick here for Exileh.
Yeah, I'm personally not a big fan of Katarina in general. In Europe so far, I have seen it not really work out that often. I don't think H2K would have necessarily banned it in the second phase. There's plenty of good mid laners open. I would have rather seen an AD carry pick here for Unicorns and then squeeze out the other two AD carries. If you pick Ashe and you ban like a Jhin and a Varus, then you have really good composition, and it's very hard for H2K to react because they have to play Caitlyn. And Nuko and Chei have already shown that they're not that great of a bot lane, so I think Unicorns could have leveraged their bot lane advantage more in the draft. Right now, we're looking at role disparity. H2K probably going to pincer the supports in the pick and ban phase, and Unicorns of Love, they're obviously removing the bad matchups that they don't want to play against. Shen is not that great into Rumble. Despite it being in full damage composition, you still don't want to play against that Rumble.
Yeah, and that allows then H2K to ban out the Lulu. We have seen Hyli actually play that champion twice this split as well.
Meta-wise, you would expect Lulu and then followed up with them by the Misfortune. Something you could expect.
As was the ADC pinch here. Varus off the table, so Ashe is the last sort of top-tier meta, also has been played in the past.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily an AD pinch, because pinching implies that you pick a champion, then remove the two other best champions in that tier list, forcing basically your opponent to pick down tier. I think Unicorns don't want to play Varus themselves, and they don't want to play against it. That is more likely the case.
Well, that seems to be the last train of thought. H2K, last ban, going to be the Bard, again targeted Very specific. Hitting Hilly's like stage champion.
Yeah, and you can just see how Unicorns of Love are influencing the draft, even if they pick peculiarly, but people also ban way different against them, because almost never would you ever see a bar ban right there. So they're targeting the player, not the meta here, because they know it doesn't apply one-to-one to Unicorns of Love.
Unicorn's going to lock in their ADC preferred. It's going to be the Jhin over the Ashe this time around. Champion pool still very severely hit, so Hylissang, where does he lean back to? 1, 2, 3 support bans from H2K.
Misfortune is still the matchup to play into Zyra. So essentially, Chei are picking themselves a comfortable matchup. Most likely they go with Ashe, but even then, Jhin is still slightly favored if you believe what Reckless says on the matchup.
And it's just kind of like H2K calling Unicorn's bluff. Game 1 of a best of 3. Leave MF up, even if we think you play it.
Yeah,
let's see how good
it's basically asking how good is your Misfortune support. And if Unicorns don't even pick it here, well, then obviously H2K have won that pick and ban mental game. This obviously, the Ashe comes out. Ashe Zyra, super standard in his meta game to pick. When in doubt, when you're one counter pick into Shen, which is the Rumble is banned, you just pick Maokai, which is the strongest of the 2 tanks remaining in terms of Maokai and Nautilus. So H2K really following the book. The only thing they kind of changed up is that they really prioritized Syndra as their 3rd pick, because they really wanted a strong mid laner that Febiven can spy a lot of control on. And
that's Syndra's got the option to do so. No Misfortune, final lock-in. It's going to be the Thresh. I mean, that's got to be screaming something to H2K here.
That's disrespect. If you play Thresh into Zyra, you're going to have a bad time. If the Zyra is equal skill to the Thresh, you are going to suffer. Every time you try and place a hook, she can literally just spawn a plant in front of you, and the hook will just hit the plant. That's how the game works. You simply can't outpace that. So you need to go for like flash plays, flash E ignite, but that is almost never going to guarantee any kill. We saw Ignar do it, but that was because Yarnan was, as the Europeans like to say, just trolling.
Yeah, just trolling. We'll find out whether or not Chei has got that seed mechanics on wrap, and maybe the Ivern can help out, maybe give that a little bit of extra sort of gap closer to Hylissang's Thresh. But the gauntlet's thrown. Yeah. This is just Zyra v Thresh, mechanics versus mechanics. Let's see if Hilly can step up to the plate.
Oh, he has to. When you play Thresh like this, you need to make something happen, especially if you look at the composition. Very low damage on the side of Unicorns. They need to snowball from mid.
Yeah, absolutely need to. So a lot of pressure on Exileh on that Katarina matchup. It is going to be going up against...
Syndra.
Thank you very much, Syndra. I was waiting for it to pop up. Thank you very much. Anyways, picks and bans are locked in. Let's get into our match of the week. It's H2K versus the Unicorns of Love.
I don't think they are as strong as last split, so I think we have a really good chance to go first seed in the group.
I do believe that UOL lineup got stronger this year.
Welcome back to the spring split. The European LCS H2K on the blue side, led by the returning mid laner Febiven, Syndra. On the other side of the rift, the Unicorns of Love. Let's see what they can do with Katarina being controlled by Exileh. We've touched on that support matchup, Krepo, but what about the rest of the map? It's only really the Ivern that's going to throw a spanner in the works here.
Yeah, the Ivern's really interesting. We saw Jankos play against it last week as well, and he was dealing very well with the pathing, keeping up, not getting kind of out mind gained or cheesed, call it what you want. Ivern has kind of 2 standard paths. He can either go for an invade heavy path, or he rushes the quickest at level 4, I think, out of any jungler, because he can double prep camp, switch sides, and then power level 2 to level 4. But then he has to stick to gank.
Do you have a preference on how Ivern's play that side of the map, or how they prioritize?
If there's no invades, I think you just go for the level 4 clear, and it seems that the competitive lane have kind of settled to allow that. At the start, Iverns were face shaking left and right, and it was more of a gamble. So I think it's going to be the standard clear, which is enchant the wolf camp, smite the blue, enchant the grump, move over, then enchant red and raptors, move back over, clear your camps, and then move up over to top side again. So that is kind of what Xerxe is going to do here, path-wise. We could see an aggressive invade if Jankos, for example, goes smiteless into enemy red straight, but it's a very cocky play.
All right, well, keep our eyes on where Xerxe decides to go. A lot of early trading down the bottom lane here between Nuclear and Chei.
Yeah, we're not going to delve into the mechanics because that's done far too often. TLDR of this bot lane is that Zyra and Ashe are going to be pushing and should be pushing all day. If you look at the mid lane, Syndra should be pushing Katarina, And early game, Maokai stays even towards Shen, but it doesn't really matter where they go. What matters is that H2K have two pushing lanes with a Kha'Zix jungle that usually leads to invades.
All right, leads to invades. We'll find out if Jankos can find any kills. Has consistently impacted the early game for such a long time now in the European LCS. Regardless of meta, regardless of champion, just seems to be in control.
Yeah, and the game is pretty stale until that Ivern goes for the level 3 or 4 gank. That needs to hit for Xerxe because his lanes are getting pushed in and under pressure against a team that is so used to playing the game properly, like H2K. That's obviously gonna result in advantages.
And Krepo, it's very early. It's only the second or third wave here, but like H2K really got lane control. Samux and Hilly, they were pushed completely back to their tower, and it goes back to this matchup.
Yeah.
Death Sentence finds Chei though, through the plant. Is going to get traded backwards. Summoner heal used. And you can't get away with that one for Hilly.
Yeah, but see the flaws in Chei's spaffing, that should never happen. Ever in that lane should you eat a hook at Zyra. But then again, Samux, he misses the point-blank W, allowing Chei to survive. Chei would have died there if that hit.
Fortunately, it didn't, so nothing ventured or gained. So heal for Ignite. We caught a glimpse of Jankos going for the invade, but he didn't find any camps.
Jankos walked in because you can't deduce jungle pathing from leashes because Ivern doesn't need a leash. But based on which camps are down, Jankos should be able to predict that Ivern now is on the left side of the map, ganking either mid or top. So Febiven needs to lean to the right side. All
right, information to work with. Exileh trading heavily with Febiven, jumps back in.
That's a great.
Trigger Seed's going to pop a little bit of a shield there, and here comes Jankos. It's just going to force Exileh to jump backwards into the safety of the Brushmaker. So both junglers showing their faces and nothing really gained just yet.
Yeah, but they dodge a bullet here because look at Ivern's jungle, it's empty. Obviously Jankos, he can always insta-clear camps. Ivern, he needs ramp-up time. He needs to enchant those camps and then return later unless he has smite available. So there's a bit of a power trough here for this Ivern.
Yeah, definitely one of those sort of scaling champions. The longer the game goes, the more utility offers, the beefier that Daisy gets. But it's up to Jankos to sort of impact this early game. Has the champion to do so. Has a lot of CC to play with in really every single lane.
Yeah, and we saw the stats on the analyst test, but this guy is topping the charts. Yes, his team is winning, but he's doing it by such a margin that is still impressive. He's definitely the best performing jungler right now in Europe. But one thing H2K need to watch out for is obviously that Shen ulti from Vizicsacsi, Unicorns of Love. It was their fix in 2016 summer to kind of tied it all together. Once they were working on their macro, it allowed them to kind of jump from one lane to the other much faster, and it helped them kind of build up their macro game.
It really did. Talking about the top lane, Chachi, very early respect flash. Doesn't want to run the risk of getting jumped on and killed. But down in the bottom lane, Xerxe is setting up, if not just for the camp, we'll see what sort of shenanigans he can get up to.
He's just simply counter-jungling right now. He knows Kha'Zix is on the top side. He doesn't really have too many camps in his jungle available. He can't get access to that gank here because Thresh had to base. Hylissang was outpoked. So I think the Unicorns, they're waiting for level 6 all in with the Shen ultimate.
A lot of options to work with. Exileh Shimpo's forward. He's going to get that preparation. Trigger Seed for the shield and flash blown by Febiven. So both Jankos and Xerxe now successful sort of roaming flybys, blowing those summoner spells.
Yeah, but everybody playing with the necessary amount of respect, not watching if they could juke the skill shot. Insta flash is necessary. Nobody wants to be the guy that makes the first mistake.
Yeah, you never do. There's a Chachi, teleports back to lane, got that Spirit Visage, Spectre's Cowl rather, working towards the Spirit Visage.
And even though every time we look, it seems like Exileh's having good trades, he is down over 16, 17 CS at this point.
Do you think that's expected? I mean, in the matchup, in the early game?
I think it's defendable, but still, it just hints that you probably shouldn't pick Katarina. I'm so hesitant to call this a good pickup, especially in a comp where the only other real damage dealer is a low mobility carry that has to play versus Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix is so good, even versus Katarina in duels, because he has this temporary invisibility where Katarina's spinning daggers won't hit him anymore. And you can walk out, and she can't get the instant reset on you, or she can't pick up a dagger and shampoo immediately, and suddenly you just isolate her and kill her.
If anyone's got the skill to do that, Jankos is the guy. You look at the European LCS. Up 10 CS on Xerxe, looking at gold. It's only about 200. Not a lot to speak home of, and Xerxe continues to prep those camps. So getting closer to ultimates. And no huge advantages gained really outside that mid lane.
Yeah, just a small laning advantage here. Obviously, Samux and Hylissang, they're waiting for the level 6, so they can get that Shen ultimate. Oh, I like this pathing from H2K. They really play around potential power spikes here on the map because Unicorns, they're going to spike big with the Shen ulti, with the flash and the ignite up on Hylissang. It almost guarantees a kill. So what H2K is saying, guys, we don't want to have that happen. Let's just split the map up. We go top lane. We were surprised the Shen without flash, and maybe just straight up dive in.
All right, so Nuclear and Chei heading up to the top lane. Samux and Hilly have yet to respond. I want to keep my eye on how Samux and Nuclear, how they continue to grow and develop, obviously with this favorable matchup in H2K and the supports, and now the lane swap.
We gotta watch here though. Is Vizicsacsi aware that this is happening? The bot lane hasn't returned yet, so he must know it's coming, but good interrupt.
Yeah, very good Shadow Dash taunts. Gets out of range. No grasping roots, so
and it was called, because the Unicorns of Love bot lane based, walked back to lane and it was like, these guys aren't back yet. Be careful topside. That is a natural reaction right now. But they're late on the play. H2K is first on the rotation.
So good calling here from H2K. We heard some whispers coming into the splits about how Chei might be taking over some of that shot calling duties, bringing in some of that experience from the LCK and his former teams. And we're going to have to ask them who's leading the charge. We know it's a very vocal team, especially from the likes of Odo and Jankos of team comps gone by. But now we've just got sort of those Australia lanes.
Yeah, now it's all about vision control, especially in the river. Just allow your jungle to pass safely, predict the enemy jungler's movements. There could be a case to be made here to just swap it up again, push out for action Zyra, because that is how you really translate an advantage in terms of push. You know you can't fight them in an all-in, but you have the minion wave control, so you just base. They have to push out. They're busy for 30 seconds. You can use that 30 seconds to make a better move, one that they may not expect, and that's exactly what H2K tried here. And
H2K as an organization have historically been very good when it comes to playing sort of the macro, the strategic level game.
And by H2K as an organization, you obviously mean Prolly.
He is part of the organization, so yes,
for the longest time, he was the only coach they had. They barely had any analysts, and he was definitely revolutionizing macro as a coach very early on. And he's been a consistent, important part of the org.
Yeah, helping out. All right, so some of the shenanigans have allowed Exileh to catch up on CS here. 72 to 80. It was nearly 20 a few minutes ago. We're hitting 10 minutes into game time, and thanks to the sort of lane reassignments, I think Jankos has actually snuck into the pit. I didn't see if that control ward caught a glimpse of him.
You can tell they're not pinging on him, so it doesn't seem that they're aware of what he's doing. He probably even used the blast cone, because nobody's been in that area of the jungle for a while.
No, that control ward may have just missed it, so zero contest here from the Unicorns of Love.
Yeah,
first dragon of the game picked up by H2K.
And that's what you want to do, small advantages. When the map's on lockdown, you can't find an opening, you're playing versus Shen ulti, and you have the scaling. Honestly, H2K, they're comfortable taking this to late game, because they have 4 damage threats and a Maokai, whereas Unicorns of Love, they have 2 damage threats, and a Thresh that completely falls off in the late game.
Unless he finds that hook. Now I'm being hyper optimistic.
Yeah, but even in the late game, what are you going to do when you find a hook?
Yeah, get insta-gipped by Syndra, Kha'Zix, or Ashe.
Yeah, that historically has been the problem for a Thresh, because he essentially CCs himself while he's trying for a hook. On a good player, you have maybe 30% chance of hitting it, because he can either juke left, right, or stand still. And you're essentially playing at max range in the late game too, because there's so much zone control. You can't walk into a Zyra E range, you can't walk into Febiven's QE range, so you're playing max range Thresh, going for a low % hook, and you CC yourself every time you throw it out, which means you're sitting bait.
Yeah, sitting target, like shooting like fish in the barrel. Talking about that, the tower dive that H2K wanted to avoid is now being set up. Daisy has been called in. Stranglethorns to buy some time. Defensive flash. Exhaust onto Exileh, blocks the damage, and he takes the lantern to safety. Stun onto Xerxe. First blood's available. Not picked up yet, but it is now. Febiven locks it down. Odo unfortunately donates himself, plus another to Exileh. Over eager on the re-engage.
Yeah, we need to see what happened on the top side of that play. H2K reacted in time. Odoamne did get his chasing teleport off. This play nets teleport advantage for Unicorns though, so even if it would have backfired, they still have a net win. And they're looking for more.
Absolutely are. Nuclear and Chei, they're very low. The flash hook catches Chei. Samux closes the kill.
Yeah, that was Chei trying to put up a plan for his AD carry with his flash down. And again, Unicorns, they're simply outplaying in the specific matchups.
Read the tower dive. H2K didn't respond quickly enough. And Krepo, you were praising how H2K had, seen it much earlier in the game, but unfortunately got caught a little bit out of position.
Yeah, you still got to play it right. Jankos and Odo going down there means a lot. Now Febiven, no flash, but he should be okay.
Very close.
Just a wee bit short.
Chachi not going to be able to find the taunt. And Chachi Stand United. There we go. Paying dividends. We touched on sort of that Shen with Stand United and now teleport advantage. Surely there's a lot more pressure on Odoamne. He's got that Maokai. He's now got no teleports. And in about a minute and a half time, Chachi's going to be able to just rinse and repeat.
So let's see what happened on the top side here. I like Exileh jumping over the arrow. Honestly, really impressive. Arrow misses, he goes in, immediately jumps out because he gets exhausted into Jankos. Then Odoamne chases the Lantern. He is going down. 1v4. Maokai still early in the game, but how does Jankos end up dying here? Instant reset from Katarina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good hooks from Hylissang. Here's that teleport from Chachi. Nuclear and Chei. No flash available. Nuclear locked down. Death sentence as well. That's just CC for days.
Yeah, and Odoamne did exactly what he had to do. He was pushing the bot lane as hard as he can. There is the opportunity cost of that play for Unicorns where they leave their bot lane exposed. It is a single kill trade. All depends on who can get the first turret here. And actually, Odoamne is going to take it. So I think H2K is actually quite happy for this.
Okay, so net gold gain probably in favor of H2K because they also get the teleport cooldown as well. You have to factor
that's
that
right,
in.
because they only made a mistake that gives teleport advantage. Now Jankos is zoning Exileh here, and they're kind of punishing for the Unicorns for playing too much on one lane. They all went topside to kill the AD carry, but H2K have shown in the past they're okay with their bot lane being slightly behind.
Well, they are indeed. H2K okay with getting jumped on in the mid lane. A lot of support for Unicorns of Love. Gonna push down. And Xerxe being really frustrating, throwing out the brush over and over. Really disruptive to a regular siege and a normal flow of gameplay.
Yeah,
All of a sudden losing vision.
You can pop that. It looks like a tiny brush. You can put Baron in that brush, which means even if you ward over the wall, you don't see what HP it is, so you get anxious and you jump in. Turns out he's on 8,000 HP and you die.
Well, baiting it in. All right, tower equalized by Unicorns. It was Vizicsacsi that pushed that one in. 1-0-2 on the Shen, getting beefier. Teleport, going to be quite a big disparity in time, but Stand United allows Vizicsacsi to jump in at any time.
It's always matched, so... And this is, again, the ward, the lingering ward right there. Not sure what the plan was for, it doesn't really help much. Nuclear's dead anyways, they were too far up. You could argue that they shouldn't be playing that far up against the teleport, but there was the cross-map advantage because Odoamne was instantly pushing the bot lane. That's what you have to do. You got to be ready. Know that if he teleports, you got to take something back.
Got that tower first blood at the very least, but not a whole lot else. It's still an even game, right? It's 4 kills to 1. The problem is, it's Exileh and Chachi that are starting to pull ahead. Chachi's very beefy. You take a look at some of his stats in comparison to Odo in terms of the matchup. And that could be pivotal. If Chachi Shen can keep Exileh and Samux alive, I mean, he has to, because that's where the damage is coming from.
Yeah. Chachi needs to be in the game tankiness-wise, but the main onus to carry is still on Exileh, because he is one of the 2 damage dealers, and he's the one that can actually produce most of the damage if he gets a reset, so it's even more important. Hylissang using vision to his advantage to maybe get a pick here. Unicorns now, they're moving to 1-3-1 kind of formation. Katarina on the side lane. She has good all-in, especially when she's ahead. So I like this. They're protecting Samux as well. Low mobility, should be in the mid lane, in the middle of the game.
I like that style. We'll see how Hilly balances between backline with the Lantern and frontline for the hook. I said I wasn't going to say this at the beginning of the day, Krepo, but we've had 2 Ocean Drakes in a row. That's going to be the 11th Ocean Drake out of 69 Elemental Drakes.
It's a great movie. Don't watch the spin-offs, though. Goes downhill.
And the sustain's going to help out whoever can pick it up. But there's not really a huge amount of poke on either sides. No. They want to all in or they want to pick.
Very short time window poke.
Yes.
From Unicorns of Love.
Yes.
Still poke.
Definitely not the most powerful, Krepo. I'm taking a look at the vision around the map. And Unicorns very clearly setting their sights on Dragon. Yeah. It's not the deepest vision, though.
No, but it's enough, because it allows Vizicsacsi to see what's going on, so when he needs to teleport, so there at least a 2 or 3 seconds buffer time on that teleport. They can place the Dragon in the brush if it listens, but they can just do it right there as well.
Yeah, no real contest.
Zoning hook from Hylissang, classic.
We're going to see a lot of those, I feel.
My favorite.
As the game continues to progress. And Unicorns, they've gone toe-to-toe with H2K in the early game.
Odoamne walk down. I like this.
Okay, so Teleport and Stand United will be available very shortly for Chachi. Tower should fall. It's so low.
Can't hide the tower.
No.
Can I Dragon? Can I Baron? No. That's structure, man.
They're immune to brush invisibility. And Krepo, H2K being run around the map a little bit. I mean, you know, they started that lane swap, then got punished for it.
Yeah, but it's still a nice move. When you're down 2 globals to 1 in the Shen versus Maokai matchup, what you can do, however, is push out the lane, keep the Shen busy, walk bot or walk mid. Hang on, Arrow.
Arrow catches onto Exileh. Where's Scatter the Weak? Follow-up stun, unleashed power, exhausted, and the stand united.
That's good.
That's a worthwhile trade. 2 exhausts though. Both Febi and Exileh threw that down.
Because it relieves the pressure, and even though Vizicsacsi has the teleport global, it means that Jankos can actually look for assassinations. It's the extra shield that makes it very annoying to play Kha'Zix into a Shen composition. So then now a brief window, roughly, imagine something like 90 seconds. It's actually over 2 minutes still on rank 2. So they have about 2 minutes left to make a play, find a pick somewhere.
Both teleports are up, so at the very least it'll be equalized. It won't be able to be capitalized or optimized by Unicorns.
But it's more important that you can kind of one-shot the guy and then deal with whoever teleports in, have Odoamne neutralize that, then rather have to burn out another like 400, 500 HP shield.
This is going to become a war of attrition, where the UOL can balance their shields and their heals long enough to keep their 2 damage sources alive.
Exactly, and even on the map, it's a kind of a summation of small map movements that kind of get you the advantage. It's not one big play, it's all set up, it's all kind of interwoven. You make one mistake, you lose your teleport. Okay, they're going to punish you, you need to play around that. Okay, you're pushing a lane, let's move to a different lane, put some pressure. Get some vision in, base, more wards, build on that same vision that you have already. That's what both teams are trying to do, while counteracting what the other team is doing.
It's so
And then pressing all those buttons.
It's so difficult. I was taking a look at the play cams a moment ago. Jankos rattling off a mile a minute, talking to the team. Chachi's got flash and dash available. Looking at the minimap, a little bit of encroaching H2K support, but he's not far enough to really be at risk of being killed.
Yeah, and I can't wait for the day that this matchup swaps, because then I sit away farther from Odoamne, because that guy shouts. I'm having a hard time focusing on what I'm saying, because he's literally shouting so loud in terms of shot calling, that I'm trying to listen to what he's saying.
All right, Krepo, Nuclear's going to get caught out here. Chei steps forward to try body block the curtain call. Strangle Thorns at least knocks up Exileh for now. And Chei loses 75% of his HP, heal, and exhaust.
Yeah. But again, all the cooldowns are used. It's status quo right now.
Yeah. What's going to break this game open? Is it going to be a mistake or an outplay that sets it up? Or like,
I think the scaling is going to put it up. I think H2K is just comfortable playing it slow. Eventually, this Jhin is going to be threatened by Zyra all in. Late game, Zyra can one-shot Jhin. Just flash EQR, he's dead. Ashe can peel for herself a little bit with Arrow. Syndra can always play that. Press the high IQ button. Like, I'm an insane player, by the way. Press R. And then Kha'Zix scales as well, whereas Unicorns, they funnel everything into utility. Shields, Shen ultimates to keep somebody alive, but if they get picked off and make one mistake, it's over.
I was going to say, like, the margin for error on the Unicorns team composition feels lower than on H2K. Grasping Roots goes out, trying to chunk down Daisy as best as possible.
All right, Shen's basing. You should always be careful when you see a Shen base on the minimap, because they could always be looking for something. Whoever loses mid lane turret in these kind of matchups generally gets behind, but Unicorns of Love have been putting so much pressure that it's been dangerous for H2K to push out their side lanes. And I love this usage of the brush here to hide the Thresh.
Very clever. Exileh very optimistic with that Death Lotus. Not really going to find a lot of damage onto Jankos. He instantly leaps away.
Yeah, and look at how comfortable they are. They're peeling away Febiven to play on side lanes. This is, if you go back all the way to Spring last year, when they subbed in Selfie over Ryu, they weren't doing this. They were playing very ARAM-esque in the mid lane, just 4 people right there. But right now, it does seem that they're confident in letting Chei and Nuclear clear out the mid wave. So simply move to a side lane, push it out a bit, and come back. And that's good to see from H2K.
I want to talk a little bit more about Nuclear and Chei, because they had that sort of favorable support matchup. Nuclear on the ADC down 30 CS. And these are 2 guys who have struggled a little bit in the games we've seen. We'll expand on that in a moment, because Chachi could get jumped on, but it feels like the tower will be the focus here.
Oh yeah, it's all about the implication. You just walk up, it's like, yeah, we could fight you, we could waste some time here, but we're actually here for the turret.
And what's your take on Nuclear and Chei now? They've got a very sort of utility-heavy duo.
I mean, it's really harsh to base it on a few moments, but if you get hooked level 2 with Zyra, you're not playing the game right. Right now, H2K getting punished for that rotation top as well. Losing their mid lane turret, not really worth it in my books. Because this will allow Unicorns to put that same pressure mid, but now much deeper, and then they can pivot into either left side or right side jungle, and once they deny some vision, that's when they truly want to make some picks here. Like Hylissang hiding in the brush into Hook, into Katarina, that's what they're looking for.
Find out if H2K get caught out. It's 22 minutes in, 3 towers to 2. It's only a 1,000 gold game in favor of H2K, but the game has been defined. H2K make a play, UOL respond and get something either to equalize or more.
Yeah, equalize or more, definitely to say that. Sheepy so intensely staring. Odoamne staring as intensely as you can with a fluffy unicorn hat.
At least he didn't flinch.
Oh, he's got the stare on lockdown.
Oh yes, oh yes.
He also has abs of steel.
The thing is, this game is currently balancing on a knife edge. There's no super clear advantage. Hilly was chasing forward. That's the death sentence, signaling it for Febi. He's able to flash away, manages to get the ultimate off, but it was exhausted. Exile still alive. Looks to be jumped on here by Odo. Shut down by Odoamne. Nuclear caught by a death sentence once more. Flash for Chachi. He's under the tower. He's not rooted, but it's Jankos that sinks the fangs in, tastes the fear and forces him away. 2 for 2.
The only damage that remains is Samux, which is not very much, so Odoamne can already peel that front line, and that's exactly what is going to happen in the late game. If Exile drops without removing at least 2 people from H2K's lineup, they will still lose the fight, because you cannot trade damage dealers equally, because H2K has 4, Unicorns have only 2.
Mountain Dragon, the next target. Unicorns backing away from this. Not going to contest. It doesn't feel like H2K are going to pick it up. It ends up being a 2 for 2. But it was H2K that peeled it back after being engaged, and after, really, I mean, Febiven was just run down.
Yeah, he was run down, but he also had a moment to flash at one point. He flashed after taking damage, instead of just flashing the Jhin W. It was a good setup from Unicorn. Poking to Jhin W is a really good way to make picks, but it's also flashable. Let's watch this again. So, at this point, Febiven has flash. He sees the particle come out. I think you just flash slightly in an angle, so you dodge the Jhin bullet, and then you survive. So Exile drops really low here, because Febiven still gets his ulti off. Chei's trying to pick him up, so Exile kind of jumps back into Odoamne, and at this point, look, the fight looks so good for Unicorns, but everything slows down. Vizicsacsi barely has any base damages to take down Nuclear, but he trades a kill onto Jankos. Now Jankos has damage, Chei has damage. Technically the Zyra over the wall could still damage, so they need to peel back. Yeah,
peel back, that's what UOL do. Concede another Dragon. 2 kills for 2. Dragon to H2K, and it's a juicy one. And help them on all those objectives.
And you're going to see this a lot this game. Hylissang and Samux waiting in a brush, kind of hoping that H2K is not quite paying attention.
It's appropriate that it's the Candy Ivern skin, and get some s'mores, pitch a campsite, you know, get a little bonfire going, and just wait for somebody to run into your hook. Because actually, if you look outside of that, UOL's engage is entirely reliant on a Samux sort of slowdown ulti from range.
Yes and no. I mean, there's always teleport flying from Shen. Taunt Flash used to be the greatest engage tool in League of Legends. I think it's all just position reliant. Problem is they need vision denial, so they need to group up for pressure, then deny vision, and then push out again. But that's hard, because the second they group up, their sidelines are going to get pushed, which put pressure on them again. So it's a really hard balance to find. And H2K, by all means, need to keep pushing out these sidelines if they want to keep the Unicorns down. But I feel like we've been talking too much from the H2K perspective. So maybe shift it around a little bit more, think about what Unicorns want to do next, and I think it's just enable Exile.
Enable Exile, find some CC onto an H2K member, allow him to get further ahead. I mean, it's 3-1-1, Abyssal Scepter, Gunblade completed. If they needed him to have damage, he's got a fair amount of it right now. Defensive flash from Samux, stands United Shield, not going to be enough. And all of a sudden, it's H2K that find the pick. Odo from the side and just obliterates him.
Yeah, the Unicorns were looking to deal with one of these side lane pushes that we talked about earlier. The second they leave, their AD carry walks up, but he doesn't really respect the engage potential from this H2K lineup.
Does not indeed. Teleport comes down from Vizicsacsi. Daisy's been removed from the map. 5-on-4 for another 15 seconds, and H2K, they've run out of minions to work with.
Yeah, one more minion wave. This is the last try. They juke the hook. Very obviously, they'll come out on the wave. And they're looking to put more damage here. All eyes are on Exile.
All right, so keep an eye on plays he can make, if at all. No damage to come down. The tower is secured. Exile's going to shimpo forward. Trigger Seed, flash, hook onto Nuclear. Follows it through. That's a gig flay. Not going to be enough. Strangle Thorns knocks up 2. Exile's down to 30%. Samux has got a reply. So far, it's a 2 for 2. The 4th shot from the curtain call doesn't do enough. Xerxe and Samux, they continue to chase down. But there's a lot of damage from Febi and Jankos still.
Yeah, we're looking at some of the weaknesses from Katarina in the current metagame, where 2 people bring exhaust each fight, both pop it, and there is a wealth of cancels available on Odoamne as well, on that Maokai, so we can still question that Katarina pick, because that was the ideal scenario. You flash in with a hook, everybody parts like the Red Sea to let Nuclear get hooked right there. Chei did not decide to take it for him. And there's only 2 kills that the Unicorns can get from that.
And both Nuclear and Chei had their flashes. I didn't see if it was available in the fight. We'll check that out in the replay in a moment.
Yeah, but look, poor guy. It's like, anybody block it? I have a tank, Maokai.
Yeah, both of them are on cooldown.
Yep. I think Odoamne made a mistake positioning here. I think you should always protect your AD carry and just walk in front of him so you can take the hook and turn the fight around. And even then, Exileh, he gets exhausted through all the damage. Jankos avoids most of it, and they can just soak it up.
H2K were at least able to get the tower. They trade evenly in kills. They're still ahead in gold. Technically, they're still in control of the game. It's not a big margin. It's not a big lead.
Yeah, but they have the scaling advantage.
Yeah.
3,000 is irrelevant when it comes to scaling comps. They could be 2,000 gold behind right now, and they would still be in control of the game, in my opinion.
Krepo, before that whole fight broke out, we wanted to look at sort of the UOL perspective a little. And I want to step back and say, all right, the UOL picks and bans. They didn't go for MF. They went for the Thresh. They sort of opted into this team comp. From what you've seen from their macro and their mid to late game decision making, is this similar to what we've seen in their previous series?
It's hard to tell because it's very dictated by the draft.
Okay.
If you look at a glance and say, okay, they pick Thresh, and Hylissang is 0, 1, and 8, the first reaction you're gonna have is like, oh, he's doing fine. Like, why are you whining? Why are you complaining? But what you could maybe look at is, imagine a world where this was an MF support. Hang on, imagine a world where Exileh doesn't die.
Well, we're gonna have to wait a second longer. Flash and Shenpo gets him to safety.
Just a little bit more than hypothetically. You have an MF support that can then push in the Zyra and the Ashe, which means Katarina can actually roam bot to dive with Shen ulti, and that's how you snowball. You get the Katarina fed. Your lanes should be in service of the Katarina if you decide to pick her. And that's not really what happened. The lanes were in service of themselves. Yeah. I think it was a comfort pick coming out for Hylissang over, I think, the better meta pick for the Unicorns.
Let's find out if he can find the pick, you know, find that death sentence.
I'm just afraid, even if he does,
what happens?
Is it too late?
Yeah, I mean, with 30 minutes into the game, we're you know, kicking off late game. 2-3 items completed across the board, mostly. Void Staff, Abyssal, Morellonomicon for Febi. The high IQ button is becoming even smarter.
Syndra, man, level 16, she's so smart. You can throw a Q behind you, throw it left or right, you don't care. Pop another Q, press R, and you're the most gifted player in the world.
Hey, it's gonna make me scream and jump, that's for sure. And Chachi and Odoamne are also gonna be the most sort of pivotal ones when these fights break out. Chachi with a good taunt, Odo with a good ulti, and like if he can block some of those skill shots.
Yeah, Vizicsacsi has the ability to set up for Exileh to eliminate any carry in under a second. It's up to Odoamne to prevent that from happening.
Death Sentence catches a mini. Hilly is the target. Stand United's already been used. Everything thrown in the mid lane. Exileh's already killed Chei. Still alive. Exhaust burning him down. He flashes and dashes away, but gets taken down. Daisy and Odo, they're traded back and forth. Chachi gets a good taunt onto Nuclear. Flashing. H2K and UOL, they've swapped sides. H2K retreating to the red side. Odo's looking to shut down Hilly, the man who started the fight. It's a 2 for 3 in favor of UOL.
Yeah, Jankos is still alive, looking for some damage on the flank. It's going to be a slow one, but Odoamne should go down. One Maokai, 3 guys, and a Daisy. That's not going to be enough.
Not enough at all, but he survives for so long. 4 kills to Unicorns, and they turn for Baron.
And there's something you could say about the Unicorns, is that they're decisive. When they go in hard with zero hesitation, no matter what the outcome. Now it's up to Jankos to peel, and we talked about this earlier. Once that Baron starts hiding in the brush, if it's placed properly, unless they change that. I don't think they did.
No, we saw it yesterday actually, blinding it up. Defensive flash from Jankos. Smites are available.
It goes so slow.
4 shots in a reload. Samux, Jhin, not the greatest Baron killer.
It's like, guys, we're playing this intensive match versus H2K. We want to fight. We finally did it. Let's see how this goes. So this is the weakness of Thresh. You go for a hook. Or he's about to go for a hook, he stands still, so he eats an Ashe arrow. But even then, so many people would flash out, Hylissang's like, nope, I'm going in. And he peels for Exileh because he eats all the cooldowns. This is a mistake, in my opinion, from Odoamne. Why would you go on Hylissang instead of Exileh? And I think that turned the fight for Unicorns. They did everything right. I think they tried their best. But if Odoamne lands Twisted Advance on Exileh right there, chases him after, and Febiven literally just presses R, I think H2K still win this fight.
But they didn't. And I meant Exileh got the kill, got a lot of damage, was still a threat.
But it shows you, even when they kind of luck out or they rely on a misplay from their opponents, and even when they still win a fight, they can't capitalize. Because the second they lose one of their damage dealers, it's so hard for them to get that objective that they need to win, which is the Baron.
That means the Unicorns of Love, they've at least closed that gold gap. Look at the damage dealt in the team fight. Obviously, in a 2-for-4 trade, UOL are going to come out tops. I'm fairly impressed. Samux not, playing safe, playing on the back line.
No, he's
what he needs to do.
He's doing above what is expected. Samux, we came in and we honestly questioned the pickup on a very late notice. Obviously, for the Unicorns, we have to defend that. They didn't have the chance to shop around for all AD carries in the offseason. They integrated him well. He seems to really ball into the Unicorns of Love's culture. And he is performing in this game, 3-1-7 against plenty of carries and abilities that could pick him off.
I think it's important to know, like, not only this game, but throughout the 4 that he's played. 4-4-13 on his Caitlyn stats, 11-1-14 on his Jhin performances leading up to this. I've been pleasantly surprised by a lot of the UOL players. Xerxe also slotted into the squad, has made, honestly, a hell of a statement. Not playing any of the meta junglers.
But such a slow game for him on this Ivern. I love seeing Xerxe on junglers that accelerate and have a chance to make the outplay. Right now, I feel he's being reduced to a former, or a lesser form of himself, rather. A little bit of side lane tussle of the remaining turrets.
Yep.
Doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. We need to see what happens around that Ashe right now. Side lanes, where they're positioned in terms of push, is important, and then the vision on Baron, because it's all going to boil down to that one.
And who can control those waves more effectively? Chachi with Stand United and Teleport has an early advantage. Also a Tiamat, going to start picking up some of that damage. But looking at the minimap, Krepo, H2K have to respond because they're being pushed both bottom and top.
Yeah, actually they just did. So they just pushed out the top lane. It's neutralized right now. But that's why Febiven's doing well. He's always just peeling off and at least making that lane neutral, just allowing some vision in the top side. Bottom is under pressure though, because Vizicsacsi is having a great game here. Having the push advantage over Odoamne currently.
And has used that Stand United very defensively, obviously. But hasn't really looked for those proactive Stand United, maybe with a Death Sentence or a Xerxe.
Yeah, because it's all conditional engage, right?
Yeah.
If you gotta buffer Stand United, believing that your Thresh is gonna land a flash hook, then you have some confidence.
Well, I mean, if you're going to pick Thresh over MF, I think you have to have some confidence anywhere, right? Yeah. There is a little bit of that.
You gotta believe.
Yeah, gotta believe in the power of the skill shots. Unicorns have dragged this game to 35 minutes. They've evened out the gold. If the scaling and the champion composition is still in favor of H2K, as maybe they start leaning towards some MR or start looking to survive that burst from Exile, like, surely the options become more and more limited for UOL.
It becomes the same option. The likelihood of it happening is going to be reduced.
Okay, I like that.
I mean, this is literally semantics, but it's still a fish or a hook. Get all in, boys. If they die, we win. If we get 2 resets, we win. If not, it's a little over. As opposed to H2K, they're just looking to not make a mistake. I think they're just so comfortable scaling. Odoamne knows his role in teamfights. It's a disruptor. He just has to find Exile or Samux.
Not
Nuclear,
Hilly.
Yeah, Nuclear's playing utility. He goes for an early QSS. He just wants to survive any snare or root that can make him a reset target.
This is the upgrade of the Death Bush. Build a bush, and then wait for it.
And it's annoying, because it's so obvious. Like, of course they're in that brush, but maybe they're in the other one.
Yeah.
Maybe they're in an actual brush. Where are they?
Nope, do not want to answer that question.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Chei gonna throw down some plants, holds onto the control ward for a few seconds longer before Exile and Hilly double team to take it down. Taking a look, all summoner spells are available. Baron is up, next dragon is Elder in about 5.5 minutes. GA for Odo, I mean, it's gonna be set up to like one monumental fight and then potentially the game is over.
And it's all on Exile. He has to maybe even wait before going in, because he's getting insta-exhausted, which means he's being buffered. Which basically means the support and Febiven, they're clicking exhaust on Exile already. Before he's even in the fight, hoping that he'll jump in and the game will insta-trigger it for you. But if you can abuse that, the characters will start walking towards you.
Chei is caught, so is Hilly. Support taking a lot of damage. Jankos jumps in, Stranglethorns knocks him up. Hilly stays alive for a few seconds longer. Exile's been exhausted, spinning and not winning. Death Lotus doesn't find a kill, but the Shumpo does. Exile's rooted down, Shumpo's over. Ashe locks him out. That's a triple. Exile's looking for the quadra. Not gonna find it just yet. Few seconds longer. Nuclear running for his life. He's shut down. H2K lose 4, and Odo will get cut down in just a matter of time.
Run, Hylissang!
Hylissang! Is the Maokai not gonna make it? Guardian Angel, the base is now gonna fall apart. Exileh survives, Krepo.
Yeah, he survives, and not only that, he tears the Unicorn, he tears H2K rather apart. Now Hylissang has to run from his, for his life from that sapling, but the base is dying here. Ooh. And that's all on a single decision from H2K to turn there, by the way.
All of the time, though, they didn't get in here. 10 seconds for the rest of H2K, and they're killing for Baron.
Asher. That's exactly what they're looking for here. It finally pays off, and they punish H2K, who go in. H2K had all the chances to reset that fight completely, waste Stand United, go back to the status quo, but they believed that they could get the one-shot, prevent the Shen from landing, and that would have won them the fight. So this was literally a 200 HP difference, win or loss, H2K or Unicorns of Love. Watch this again. So the hook goes wide, so they know 1CC is down already. Chei gets rooted, Hylissang gets punished, and Jankos here, he goes in for the kill. But look at that shield at the very end that keeps Hylissang alive, and now Exileh is looking for the reset. Jankos is too low, just one shot, and Febiven, he walks up too close. Disengage should be the motto here. Beautiful plays by Exileh though. Really mastering those resets and leaving his flash in between.
Febi never even got a chance to use that exhaust. The first one was burned through.
So we're talking about, like, you gotta buffer him, because when he's jumping around that quickly, you simply can't drag your mouse around to where he is. It's really hard to exhaust a Katarina middle of the fight. So that's why you gotta wait as a Katarina before you jump in, so you prevent people from buffering exhaust on you.
So tough, so tough. One Shunpo, one exhaust. Probably the longest kill you're going to see in Spring Split. But more importantly...
And it's this that they need to leverage. Odoamne being able to keep Exileh busy, that's the advantage that H2K is looking for.
Over 6,000 damage in favor of Exileh. And if he can do that, that's a UOL win. Now, to be fair, Unicorns now have an extra lever to turn. They can try play the split push game.
They have more time to look for hooks especially. Because when you walk up with a buff minion wave like this, it's simply not just insta one-shottable, which means you can fish for Ivern snares like he's doing right there. If one of them lands, you have follow up for a hook, and then you can play the waiting game. Every wave now takes about 10 seconds to clear.
Oh, so scary for H2K. Teleport not available for Odo. He's backing away from that top lane, and Chachi is trying to usher the middle lane in. So we're looking for a death sentence or a trigger seed here from Xerxe or Hylissang.
All pressure from the Shen on the mid lane inhib, allowing or forcing H2K to send one or two members back to deal with that. Odoamne is actually not going to go for it. He's going for the instant engage. H2K want to turn this one around.
All right, Daisy's already been used, picked up by the force of will. Curtain Call as well for zoning. So 2 ultimates to unlock a tower and potentially an inhibitor.
Febiven got hit somehow. So before Odoamne could kind of get that flanky motion, things were already happening there, so we don't know.
Oh, big shot there from Samux onto the tower. Exileh dashes in, Shunpo's out. Gets onto the ladder, and despite Chei being rooted, there's no follow-up. Vizicsacsi doing a good job with that Titanic Hydra. Inhib's in trouble, and now the bottom tower's in trouble.
And now it falls apart, but now there's pressure on 2 lanes. Before it was only Vizicsacsi really winning that silent control over Odoamne.
Oh, not really the target you want. Odo's going to dodge away with a twisted advance. Inhibitor's going to fall in just a few moments as the tower does down bottom.
They will funnel into the base, however, on the side of Unicorns, and there's plenty of catch here with Febiven's QE combo, Nuclear's arrow, and Chei having flash very soon. Unicorns still have to be very careful, because when Exileh gets double exhausted, he may not have enough damage.
Odoamne's looking for a target. Sapling toss running towards the minion line. Unicorns at 41 minutes, they're inside the base. Daisy gets pulled up once again. Where's the Ashe arrow? Looking for Nuclear to start. Daisy gets pulled backwards. A lot of damage onto Xerxe. Odoamne's in the front line. Samux gets caught out. He manages to walk away from now. Nobody's down just yet. Follow Exileh. He's on the right-hand side of the fight. Jumps back in. Dashes for the Shunpo. Got the first. Febi is slowed. Taunted. Killed. Death sentence onto Chei. And the curtain is called. Inhibitor follows next.
Yeah, Unicorns of Love with impressive patience right there. They just simply wait with jumping in, and they kill Odoamne first, and once the tank is down, then the reset spree happens.
Death sentence onto Nuclear, even in the base. The Unicorns of Love, Baron-empowered minions. They take down the Nexus turrets. They look onto the base. Hilly's not done yet. Follows the death sentence, gets shut down, but it's simply for show. The rest of Unicorns continue the chase and the fight. Slowly, slowly, the Nexus goes down, and Exileh's Katarina goes 1-0.
The Unicorns end up taking a game with more tension than action. But they still pull through. What I like the most is just how decisive they are in these key fights. They go all out when it matters, especially Hylissang twice, and it just shows, even with the Thresh, even if you miss the hook or you kind of get engaged on, he just goes aggressively. He is basically a cooldown absorber and a Shen delivery system. Once his job's done, he was fine dying and helped his team.
All of the risk was on the UOL side to find a team fight where Exileh could pop off, get through the exhausts or make them not relevant. They found that one fight. I mean, it opened up the game. Anyways, we're going to head to the analyst desk to take a closer look at how the Unicorns won game 1.